Hello, my name's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you my 11-month Freetrade Portfolio update. So I started this Freetrade account back in January at the start of the year, and I just deposited £100 into this account, and then more recently I've just been putting £25 in every month into this account. So it's a relatively small account. It's just the general investment account because I have my investment ISA with a different platform. So just smaller amounts, but I'm really enjoying just buying small amounts of individual stocks and shares. I generally choose to invest larger amounts of money into ETFs, funds and actively managed trusts as well. But this is just what I've got in my Freetrade account. So in today's video, I will be sharing with you the 3 best performers from the last month. One of them has had a phenomenal performance in the last month. I will also be sharing with you one new stock that I've added a small amount to this portfolio and giving you a little bit of information on this stock. And then I will just share my portfolio as a whole and go through each and every stock that I'm holding. So let's get started first of all with those top 3 performers in the last month. The first one is Lucid Group. This was one that I've recently added to my portfolio, and the last month it has gone up 119.1%. So I actually only bought a small amount of this stock last week, so for me it's up 26.16%. So Lucid Group, as you probably know, is an electrical vehicle company and they focus on manufacturing luxury cars. Also, Lucid's battery pack technology is used in the Formula E racing series.Moving on now to my second best performing stock, and it is Dexcom. This is one that I've had in my portfolio for quite a long time. It is up 19.72% in the last month. Dexcom produces glucose monitoring systems for people with diabetes. As I said, I've added to this position a few times since I opened this Freetrade account. So for me, overall, Dexcom is sitting up at 45.32% up, but I did add a small amount to this position last week as well. And then finally, the last stock that has performed really well for me in the last month is NextEra Energy. So the symbol for that is NEP, and it is up 11.07%. Overall in my account, this is showing as up 16.02% since I held it, but yeah, up 11.07% in the last month. So the company acquires and manages clean energy projects with stable long-term cash flows. So you'll see from this portfolio that I do have a lot of kind of clean energy stocks, electric vehicle stocks. I recently also added in the Global Clean Energy ETF as well from iShares. So there is a little bit of a theme going on with this portfolio. I also have a few healthcare stocks in here as well, because I am generally quite drawn to healthcare stocks, tech stocks, and then also clean energy stocks as well. Then on that note, the last stock that I actually decided to add was an electrical vehicle charging company. So this company is called Pod Point. I've added a really tiny amount of this to my portfolio. So I bought just £2.77 worth of this. I bought such a small amount as I sometimes do this. Instead of adding a stock to my watch list, I'll just buy a very small amount of it. Because obviously with Freetrade, there's no trading fees, so it doesn't matter that I'm just buying that small amount. And then I monitor it and go away and do a little bit more research. But my initial research on Pod Point got me interested enough to buy that very small amount. It's basically less than the cost of a coffee in Starbucks. So I thought, you know what, give it a go. So let me tell you a little bit about Pod Point. Pod Point are electric charging point companies, and they're currently racing to secure the capital needed to build out networks ahead of the UK's 2030 ban on new petrol and diesel cars. Almost a quarter of vehicles sold in the UK last month had a plug either as battery electric cars or hybrids, and Bloomberg NEF predicts that we will need 600,000 new public chargers and more than 11 million private chargers by 2040 to cater for the surge in demand. So Pod Point, which listed on the main market of the London Stock Exchange this week, is one such company. It was founded in 2009 and bought by EDF last year. Pod Point sells and installs domestic and commercial charging units. So this could be a really interesting stock. As I said, I'm going to go away and do a little bit more research on it, but I have just added that small amount to my portfolio. So let's go through my portfolio in its entirety now. So the current value of this portfolio is sitting at £348.62. Some of that, if you have a look at this green line, is coming in from the amounts that I've put in. So I've been putting £25 in a month. And then also I have had a few shares as well, free shares, and from people who've kindly used the link in the description box down below. So thank you so very much for them. I will include at the end of this video the percentage gains that I have seen from this portfolio, not including any free shares. So let's start with my biggest holding at the moment, which is iShares Global Clean Water. So I added this to my portfolio last week. It's currently sitting at 0.53% down, but I have just added it and it is very new. This is the first ETF that I've added to this portfolio because I was generally just holding individual stocks in here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this does. Then moving on to Dexcom, which, as I said, was one of my top 3 performers this month. It is up 45.27% for me. Then Nextera Energy, which is up 15.97%. Then UMC, which is up 12.4%. Then Marvel Technology, which is up 22.09%. That was one that I added fairly recently as well. NEO is down 5.5%. Square is up 3.75%. Horizon is down 5.58%. Summit Therapeutics is down 20.81%. However, I will be holding onto this. Twist Bioscience is up 3.06%. Netflix was one of the very first stocks that I bought in this portfolio when I opened it in January. So it is up 33.36%. Twilio, again, was one of those stocks that I very first bought back in January, and it is up and it is down 5.15%. Then Lucid Group, which was that stock that I mentioned, which was the top performer, up over 100% in the last month, but I've only held it for around about a week now, maybe less than that. It is up 26.11%. Then at the same time, when I added Lucid Group, I wanted to add a more kind of traditional car manufacturer. So I added Tata Motors as well last week. It's currently up 3.91%. Then finally moving on to that new edition of Pod Point, so just £2.69 worth at the moment. It is down 2.38%, but it has only just been added to the London Stock Exchange. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how it does in the coming weeks and months. And as I said, I've just added this small position with the hope of just seeing how it goes and going away and doing a little bit more research. I did read somewhere that Pod Point are not focusing on fast charging, which could potentially be a little bit of a problem with electric vehicles because people are looking for fast charging points. However, because they've got that huge market share of 50 to 60%, I did think it might still be worth it. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. And then looking at this portfolio overall, what I've done is I've taken all of the book costs and the current prices out of Freetrade, just because I didn't want to include any of those free shares in the percentage gains. So at the moment, this portfolio is sitting at 7.68% up since January, which is fine. My Trading 212 account is up 28% since January, which is obviously much, much better. I am going to be evaluating what I'm doing with this account next year. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching this video. Thank you so very much if you are one of the people that got me to 1,000 subscribers. I am over the moon. I just feel really lucky to have anyone watching these videos at all, to be honest, let alone potentially 1,000 of you. My 1,000th subscriber was actually my mum, because I called her when I got to 999 and said, "Can you subscribe?" So yeah, thank you so very much for watching and have a really, really lovely day. Bye bye.